Vols putting the finishing touches on obviously a defeat today. How could it be any other way, you know? And Jimmy Dykes can sit there and argue all day long about how Auburn belongs in the field. All right, here we go. It's all over but the shouting, ladies and gentlemen. Sour notes, out of tune. The Auburn Tigers, they were wielding a masterpiece for 30 minutes. And Tennessee woke up. As Matt Dixon said today on the air, he said, the thing about these favorites in these games is sometimes they just snap and freak. And it's Garza law, Tennessee basketball overtime. That's exactly what Tennessee did today. Tennessee snapped, crackled, and popped Stephen L. Pearl. His ball club, and here's the thing, Jimmy Dykes can sit there all day long, and Pearl can sit there and squawk at the officials, and I'm sorry, but that Auburn team, hey, Matt, I'm going to give you the first run at it here. Is that like an NCAA tournament basketball team to you? We lollygagged around. We played around for 30 minutes, Matt, and still put it on them.
Yeah, clamped down, went on a 20-0 run over about a 6 or 7 minute stretch where Nate Ament just took over, which was the most encouraging thing to see him play really, really well. But he was demanding the ball, and calling out screens for guys to set. It was really impressive that he just kind of took over for you there the last 12 or 14 minutes. But no, that Auburn team has no business being in the NCAA tournament. They're trash. They're 17-16.
They're trash. Trash.
But no, a really impressive kind of close to the game where Tennessee finally kind of just started locking down defensively. Auburn was out hustling, out playing Tennessee the entire first half and into the second half, playing like a team that needed to win to get in. But then Tennessee finally stepped up their intensity there, and it was kind of led by their freshmen, and that's a very, very encouraging sign.
Let's bring Maury Hanks in here now. Super Scout to the Stars and Brian Hartman. Then we go to the phones. By the way, if you want to load them up, 865-200-5402. Again, 865-200-5402. And the landscape changes a little bit. I got to get Brian's thoughts on this. Brian's my resident bracketologist here. But the landscape's changed a little bit because Miami of Ohio got beat today, which means they might be a bid stealer unless they really feel the need. Jimmy Dykes, man. Jimmy wants every SEC team. Jimmy trying to figure out a way to get, let's put South Carolina in. South Carolina played in a tough league, Jimmy.
They just said Oklahoma's in Lenardi's next four out, which is absurd.
See? Maury's neighbor. So now you got Lenardi doing their bidding. You got Lenardi doing the Hey, listen. For years and years and years and years and years, the SEC was on the outside looking in from all this glamour. Now they've got the network. They're in bed with and it's borderline obnoxious. Because that Auburn team is not an NCAA. 20-0 run. I mean to tell you, Maury Hanks, Stephen L. Pearl, Tennessee flexed on them, Mo. They snapped, crackled, and they popped him right out of the NCAA tourney, hopefully.
Yeah, Tony, it was it did not look good early in the second half, and then Tennessee just flipped the switch. They did not do a couple things. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure, but they did enough to turn it, and Auburn kind of just played like they were earlier, taking bad shots, and then they missed, and Tennessee just did enough, and then the tide just switched. But your fans and your 18 listeners saw why Nate Ament is really, as I've said before, there's not a lot of cats like that, like him walking the street.
This Ament guy's pretty special. There's
the play he made, and I can't remember when, but the play, he caught the ball about the free throw line, came across, jumped up to shoot. Mm-hmm. Two guys came at him, and he dumped a pass down to the low block. His basketball IQ is really off the chart just from that one play, because nobody would have said a word if he would have shot the ball from the free throw line. What would have been, hey, that's a good shot. But the guy guarding him and the guy came off of him, he just dumped it down. Guy caught it and laid it in for an easier shot.
31-11 over the final 10-26. And so much of it ran through Nate Ament. It was absolutely, totally, completely bizarre looking. And if you're
Tony, I'm sure you'll mention it, but because you always say when he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But maybe Coach Barnes knew it was, you lose and you go home. But Gillespie had 2 fouls early, didn't he? And he put him back in.
Yeah, he had to. Yes. Hey, there's a first time for everything. Go ahead, Bri.
The momentum of the game completely shifted when he had to leave the game. And I think Tennessee was going to roll them in the first half.
I do too, Bri.
Ament got a dunk first play of the game.
Yep.
And then they got a 7-2 lead. I think they would have exted the lead to double digits.
This team's not rolling anybody with a pulse, Brian. Come on.
Auburn was dead-legged. You could just tell they had to have Pettiford make some ridiculous shots just to stay ahead of them. And Ament, when he kind of landed out of bounds and had to come back in from the stands and made a 3 in the corner, I think you knew it was going to be their day.
I'll tell you
and
this.
And the blocks that they made on transition in the fast break, I think where a car got one, and I think it was maybe Gillespie or maybe it was Boswell.
No, it was Boswell. Boswell hustled back on a basically it was a 3-on-1, and he hustled back and made an incredible block. The ball went off the window and kind of caromed around, and Tennessee came up with it. I mean, that's how you win games.
That's when Tennessee just said, we've had enough. We've had enough of you guys. Go home.
And Matt made a great point. You get in these tournaments, and you have a team like Tennessee that's really kind of out there getting cardio for the first 30 minutes. That's what it was. And then all of a sudden, there comes a point in the game where a guy like, Nate Ament just snapped is what happened. He got pissed off, like Maury said. They started running through him. He got that body language back. Hey, Mo, when a guy has an injury like that, for the first 18 or 20 minutes, he's kind of tentative. And then he saw the ball go through a couple times. They put him on the foul line a couple times when he was sort of having trouble scoring early in the game. And then early in the second half, he got to the foul line a couple of times. And that was that, Maury. Once he saw the ball go in a few times, that was it, man. He put a quick, let's see, what did he end up with? 30 in the game? He put a quick, whatever it was, 28?
Yeah,
27
points, 8 rebounds.
Pretty quick 27 points for him. Pretty quick.
Oh, no. I mean, Tony, he like I said, he did some things tonight that he's done all year, but because they really needed it. I mean, I think it was 49-39 Auburn. And from then on, like you said, guys flipped the switch. They played together. They played through him. And when you have a guy like that, Tony, 1.5 guys have to guard him. 2 guys have to guard him. So he makes your other players who are average players better, because of that. I mean, if I would have told you before the game, Tony, that Auburn would out-rebound Tennessee and make more 3-pointers, you wouldn't think Tennessee would win the game, would you?
No. But when you execute the way the Vols did...
I think his ankle's okay.
When you execute the way the Vols did, hey, they did the right thing in getting him off his feet, Bri. I mean, they did the right thing. Keeping him off his feet and taking your medicine down the stretch. This is the part of the season that matters. We're getting ready to walk into this part of the season. Now, they've got to figure out a way to get Gillespie making 3 balls again. I mean, your guards today went 0 for 6 from 3-point land. That's not going to work. Those guys have to be able to hit
Nobody made a 3-pointer besides Ament today.
No, that's right, Mo. And that in tournament play it's just not going to work. You got away with it today because you have a slop team in front of you. This is a bad Auburn team. If they get into the NCAA tournament and they talk about expanding this field, that'll be a total joke. A joke.
Yeah, no, people talking about expansion don't know just how average or below average the bubble is this year. They're saying it's one of the worst bubbles maybe of all time. As we go to the phones and get our first call in, it's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcos Garza, the Garza Law Firm. Listen, the Garza Law Firm has a team, an army, an armada. They want to treat you with honest, trustworthy legal representation, treat you like family. Everybody in that organization has a servant's heart, and they will wake up serving
East Tennesseans tomorrow. Of you, by you, and yup for you. Say it, know it, and write it down online at garzalaw.com and available 24/7. As the large roll today, 72-62, and Stephen L. Pearl leaves with the L, or as somebody was calling him in our YouTube chat earlier today, Mini Pearl. Hello, Mini Pearl got himself a technical, too. They warned him like 9 times. I guess it's the officials' fault that his team can't function on offense when the game matters. Hello and welcome in. You're on Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. Hi.
Hey, Tony.
Welcome in.
Hey, man, that was an awesome game. I've been hard on the balls. I've been hard on this team, but that looked like Tennessee basketball. That looked like a Rick Barnes coach basketball team. They turned it up defensively. Akpara with that block on that looked like a wide open alley-oop, and he comes in, blocks it. Gillespie making plays, had 3 steals in the game. I mean, that right there looks like a team that can make a deep run. If we can, and if Nate Ament can put the team on his back and score like that at the end of games, then we can make a run.
Well, when I saw what I saw over the weekend, look, they've got the pieces for a run, but at some point you've got to shoot 3 balls. You've got to make 3 balls when you get in the tournament. And the numbers right now from Gillespie, I want to say the numbers are I mean, this is getting to be a little eyesore from him. I thought hanging out with him on Monday, I'd bring the kid some luck, you know. He's 7 for 40, Matt, from three-point land. 7 for his last 40. He's kind of in a real funk, isn't he, Matt?
Yeah, really going back to that Missouri game.
No.
From that game on, he's just not been able to make outside shots. So I don't know if he's got some tired legs. The season's the grind because they put so much on him physically and mentally. But he's certainly got to come out of it for this team to make any kind of noise in the tournament. I mean, maybe you can get by in a 5-12 first round game without him doing a ton if Ament plays well and a couple other guys step up. But for this team to win more than just a game in the deal, you're going to need Gillespie to play well and make shots.
But otherwise, I agree with our caller in terms of when you see Nate Ament out there being that healthy, looking that fresh, that's a scary thought for the rest of the field. And look, Tennessee hasn't had a guy like this they can just give the ball to. This guy is unique. He's different. He's kind of freaky. And this is his time. Hopefully his coaching staff will meet the moment. Anything else for us?
Yeah, I like the what's that? Is it Evans?
Oh yeah, of course.
Evans is playing some good basketball for us. I'd like to see him get some more touches. To be honest,
he's out there
when
right
he gets
now.
The ball.
Yeah, yep.
And then if we could get him some more touches, then some reason when Nate's going, it's always like Estrella's hot or Nate's hot. If we could somehow get Estrella and Nate hot at the same time, you know, I think it would be very good for us.
It's the nature of this team. Thank you, my friend. Good talking to you. The nature of this team, the nature of any of these inconsistent teams, Mo, is that when one guy's in, one guy's going to be out. That's kind of the nature of these inconsistent teams, which the Vols are, by the way.
No, exactly, Tony. Even if you look even farther, I think over his last, I think he's 16 of his last 63.
Yep.
Gillespie from 3, which is 25%. You know, if you even go back even a few more games than you were looking at, they definitely need to go, you know, more than around, you know, you guys just said they need to have both him and Ament playing, in sync at the same time.
Maury, what do you see when you see the ball not go in for a guy like Gillespie? Is he hitting a wall here? Is he tired?
I don't know, Tony. I can't. I'm not around him enough to just from watching, he has to do so much for Tennessee. He's got to play the point guard spot. He's got to handle the ball pressure. He's got to do so much stuff like that. He's got to be tired, and that's not an excuse or whatnot. He's He's not 38 years old. He's 22 years old. But, as hard as Coach Barnes makes him play on defense and things of that nature. But like I said, somebody else, it would be great. Now, again, ifs and buts and candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, as the saying goes. But if they had a third score, it would take some pressure off. And that's like I think one of your guys said earlier, if somebody else can step up and take some pressure off of him and Nate, that would really help. But you can't see that happening because it really hasn't happened all year. For them to move on, I really believe that those two guys have to play at an elite level to win games.
No question. Yeah, like Matt said, you got to shoot the ball better than this. And hopefully they do, because if you're going to beat better competition, again, this Auburn team don't belong in the field. They just don't. I didn't do it. Tennessee vice gripped them on defense. Tennessee got pissed off. Auburn could not breathe on offense. They couldn't even complete a pass once Tennessee stepped it up on them. Auburn looked like they didn't know what hit them. I mean, the defense was so nasty. And Jimmy Dykes is over there saying, they've already punched their ticket. Like, I wonder if they celebrated last night in their locker room.
Hey, Maury, do you think Auburn's legs, sort of having played the day before, could have impacted them late in the game when Tennessee made that
without
kick?
Question. I mean, without question. Again, as hard as Tennessee makes you play, again, I'm probably, I don't know where I stand in terms of the majority, but I would have loved to see Tennessee, and Coach Barnes doesn't do it. I just thought Auburn was able to get by into the paint more, maybe play a few possessions of zone, rest your guys a little bit. He didn't do it, and they won. But I do agree with you that Auburn playing yesterday, and then coming back and playing a team that really defends, makes things tough for you. They had to be tired.
We go back to our phones at 865-200-5402. We do so shouting out Alan and our friends at WeShipFloors.com. They are in the process of putting displays in a lot of stores around our state, so you'll soon be able to go in and you'll be able to shop for We Ship Floors on a retail level. Touch it, feel it, all that stuff. In the meantime, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of first-run styles and miles and miles and aisles, and the savings is all yours. Go to WeShipFloors.com. Look at the stuff that they're discontinuing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, we're getting ready to purchase some from Alan ourselves here. We were using the virtual room simulator where you put it in your house virtually. It's amazing. The technology is amazing. Bring it to the table. Sing it, don't bring it. WeShipFloors.com. Check out the website. That Supercore floor is absolutely next level. And hopefully the next time Auburn touches the floor, Matt, if Auburn, next time they touch the floor, do they belong, in your opinion, Matt? Well, Brian, I'm going to come to you. You're my bracketologist. With what happened to Miami of Ohio today, Miami of Ohio ahead of Auburn or Auburn ahead of Miami of Ohio? Brian, where are you?
One thing that would be really intriguing is put those two teams in Dayton. Miami and Auburn in Dayton.
Let them play.
Standalone game on a Tuesday night.
That sounds great. Who are you going to take out?
That's just being facetious, but if you look at the
TV, I know
it would be great TV, and let Bruce go out there and throw let Bruce go up there and tip the ball off, and then let him do all his commentary. He announced today he's got a new. Where's he going, Bri? What app's he going to? We need to go follow
He's going
Bruce
to Instagram.
Now. I can't get enough Bruce.
Show more videos.
I can't get enough Bruce. He wants to share all his all his thoughts on everything. I mean, come on, Bruce. Yes. Come on, Bruce. Relax, man. Relax. Hello and welcome in. You're on our Garza Law Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Hi.
Hey, guys. Dave.
Hey, Dave. Welcome in, man. How about that win today, buddy?
I'm happy we won.
Yep.
Very happy.
Great win, wasn't it?
I'm astonished that we came back. I really am. Because come on, admit it. When we were down 49-39, we were all thinking that you were thinking the same thing I was thinking. Admit it, Tony.
that was going to be one of the most disappointing. We were going to say stuff like, what a no-show. How disappointing. How can they be playing like this against a team that played the night before and everything else? It would have been one of the worst performances probably in the history of bad performances by this program down there in that event.
I agree, but that 20-0 run, that was great. We got to get better shooting out of Gillespie. He's got to get out of the funk for us to have any chance to,
He's got to take more than 2 3-pointers too. He only took 2.
You know what that's a sign of to me? That he knows he's in a funk when he only takes 2 3 balls.
That's exactly right, Tony.
Yeah,
exactly.
He doesn't want any at this point, which is not a good sign because he's got to shoot it. Like tomorrow against, they're going to play Vandy tomorrow. You got to shoot it against Vandy.
He's got to find that shot.
Yeah.
He's just got to find some of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to. I enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. I'm glad we won. Talk to y'all tomorrow.
Dave, love you. Thank you. 865-200-5402. Do you, Maury, is that true? When a guy like him, a kid with a shooter's mentality, only shoots 2 3 balls, generally that's a sign that he's going to feed others because he kind of knows it's not going in for him right now.
Yeah, Tony, that could be a reason. Or other guys had better shots. Now, I didn't see him. I don't remember him turning down a lot of shots.
That's
maybe,
a good point.
I missed something, but I don't know.
And they were doubling him some, as people are pointing out, which is true.
That I don't think he turned down other shots to, that he was afraid of, hey, I'm going to miss these. I'm not going good right now. Things like that. But again, it's human nature that if things not going good, you think about it. But I didn't see him turn down a lot of just wide open looks.
The thing that Tennessee did really well today that allows them to come back in the game is they didn't waste a lot of possessions. They only had 3 turnovers in the first half, 3 in the second half. And Matt, that is how this team has to play. This team's got to keep those turnover numbers low. Get shots at the basket, let the rebound, and go to work.
No, they have these last 3 or 4 games going back to like Alabama and South Carolina and even Vandy. They've really cut down on their turnovers here down the stretch because that's been by far the biggest problem offensively. I mean, I think Jimmy Dykes said it. They lead the league in turnover percentage in league play, but they've really cut that down these last month and a half or so, and that's been pretty key. And makes up for they've just not gotten to the foul line a bunch because Ament's been out. But yeah, you've got to limit those turnovers because a lot of our turnovers are just those silly live ball turnovers.
Yep.
That lead to easy buckets on the other end.
Back to the phones we go. 865-200-5402. By the way, after being scintillating the last couple of days, Okpara and Estrella both had quiet days. Estrella's interesting. He only attempted 2 shots in the game, made both of them, grabbed 3 boards, committed 3 fouls, did have an assist, didn't turn the ball over, did have a block, but only played 16 minutes. Kind of an interesting game all the way around. And Ament today, plays 32 minutes. Shout out to TGMD who won on the Daily Show today. He said he was going to play 32 or 33 minutes, and he was exactly right. So we'll go back to the phones at 865-200-5402. I think the key point in the game, and Boswell kind of drives me nuts at times, but that hustle back block when they're down 10, and then that fueled the run. From that point on, Tennessee snapped. That 20-0 run, that's a snap job. And I will say one thing about the point Dave made. If you're an Auburn fan, you had to be sitting there in total shock. You're like, man, we're going to win 2 games in this tournament. 10 minutes left. You have a 10-point lead. Tennessee's dead to the world. And they're thinking, we're going to get through to the next round. Maybe we get Vandy tomorrow and get to Saturday. Hey, this thing's lining up for us, Make a little run here, make a little noise. Hey, you want to go up to Nashville with me? You want to ride up? No, you can save your gas. Because that Auburn team's not an NCAA tournament team. I don't know what you're looking at, but I don't know if I put them in the NIT. They're like a CBI team to me. Hello and welcome in.
Which was just canceled today.
Damn it. It crushes me. Hello and welcome into our next call. Those CBI world champions all around the world are gutted by that news. As we get our next call in, hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, John Vols.
Hey, John, welcome in.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad Maury Hanks is in there. I have a comment and a question and see what he thinks about this, if possible. I tried to be a shooter in high school, and my dad, who taught me basketball, always said, you got to be confident, you got to see the ball going in. And I always felt like there was a gray area between confidence and cockiness. I think cockiness has a bad definition at times, because I think Michael Jordan would be my example of that, But he was cocky. He was right there in that gray area, I feel like. Maybe fading over into cockiness. But it got done for him, and every player is different. Now, I'm glad we're playing Vandy tomorrow, maybe to pop them. But my question to Coach Hanks is, do coaches, Rick Barnes, does he recruit players to fill scout teams? Because when these coaches get scouts on teams, and they show the teams what they're doing on film and all, I guess what I'm asking is, do they have in mind certain players that can run different forms of offense?
I don't know at this, in 2026, if teams are able to have the luxury of recruiting enough players to be, scout team players. Like in women's basketball, some people don't know, but they have male players as practice players for them to practice against. So I think your question's a good question, but I don't think especially with NIL and, guys wanting to go someplace else because they make X more dollars than they may make someplace else. In terms of that, in terms of like you're seeing it in practice. I don't know that it's going that deep in terms of doing it against somebody you can prepare for.
Coach, how long do these teams, say Tennessee, maybe they have a Tuesday game, then they have a Saturday game. Say they're prepping for that Saturday game. How much time do they have to, especially after a loss, to regroup, put it together, and come out and beat a Kentucky, Matt Dixon, the way it should be? How long do they have, I guess?
Well, if you're talking about during the regular season, they play Tuesday night, win or lose. Usually they have a different assistant coach doing the scouting report. He'll give that information to Coach Barnes. He may have already given it to Coach Barnes, and the next day at practice, if they're if they're going a light day, which they probably would, they've got that out there now. Early in the season, or even during the season, if you're only playing a team once, sometimes they've like when they go play Vanderbilt tomorrow, they've already played Vanderbilt twice. They know their personnel. So it's a lot different, I think, than playing somebody just once that they saw during the regular season. And I think that makes a difference. But they'll get back to the hotel, get off their feet, have a meal, and they'll be going right into their game prep and getting ready for the game tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon.
So, Coach, do teams that play, say they play a team once, as you said, or maybe they play them twice, do they maybe they don't focus as much on the scout the second time or the third time around? Is that true?
Oh no, I don't.
It all. Some coaches John. Are really into taking away what the other teams do.
Yep.
Some coaches are, hey, don't worry about what the other team does. We're going to ratchet up and take care of this. So I can't speak to what, Tennessee does. I can just tell you over the years, some coaches are more into, we're going to run our stuff and you're going to stop ours. And there's other teams that are saying, we're going to shut it down. I mean, that's why a lot of teams in the past, that's why Syracuse, Coach Boeheim believed in the zone. You know why? You don't have to worry about too much stuff on their offense. Everybody's usually got 3 or 4 set plays against a zone. You kind of know, hey, Tony's a good 3-point shooter. Matt's not. We got to get out on him. We don't have to get out on Matt. That's why a lot of people play zone, because they don't have to prepare so much for a team's 10, 12, 13 set plays. Nowadays that everybody's running, pick and roll and stuff like that, you don't have to worry about 13, 14 set plays. You've got to worry about more tendencies of individual players. You have to know, hey, Tony's going to go to his right 90% of the time. Matt's a catch and shoot guy. You need to make him put the ball on the floor. So each coach is different. But again, this time of year, especially again, using Vandy as the example, they've played them twice.
Yep.
They played them a week ago. They should be ready to go. I think they're going to get off their feet, get a good night's rest, and be ready to rock and roll tomorrow.
Shout out to my friends at Connexial, Knoxville's transportation logistics tech company. And thank you for the call, John Valls. Great questions. They sponsor the My 20 Drive of the Game here on Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Your My 20 Drive of the Game? The Drive of the Game, well, we can go 2 ways with this. I'm going to give it, personally, to the drive. I want to say it was Pettiford, but Auburn going up to attempt and going up to go up by 12, and out of nowhere comes Boswell with a hell of a hustle play and a block. And the game wasn't the same after that. Tennessee essentially went on a 20-0 run, and everything clicked from that moment on. And the game was never the same. Presented by our friends at Connexial, KONEXIAL.com, KONEXIAL.com, revolutionizing your trucking industry nationwide. Your fleet is more efficient. Drivers on our roads safer for it. Safety scores go up. Drivers are happy. You maximize your profitability. And I want to shout out a member of the Connexial extended family, because Jono is listening on the way back. His little brother, Mark, Air Force Officer School graduation. Thank you, Mark, for your service. Thank you for being a good man. But he led his flight 15 out of 165 to win the Honor Flight Award, which is a big deal. So Vol's winning all over the place today. And congratulations to Mark Cofield today as we get ready to go back to our phones. And I know your uncle's very proud of you as well. Uncle Wichita Ken. If you want to get in, 865-200-5402. This Ament guy, he was showing it all today. He was showing it all today down the stretch. That 10 minutes of basketball he played was scary. Scary. Matt, if Ament can come back tomorrow and not have any whatever, I don't know why he would, but not have any complications from playing that much today, Tennessee should wipe the floor with that Vandy group tomorrow, Matt. Yes or no? Are you calling the shot right now, Matt?
I think they should win, but this team's not going to wipe the floor with, again, anybody that's got a pulse, and Vandy's pretty good.
That's a good point.
Just the way Tennessee plays, they're not blowing anybody out, but they're also not getting blown out.
They're helter-skelter.
But it's the body language that Ament had I thought was a little bit different. He was kind of demanding the ball at times. There was one sequence where I think he got a rebound, and then he brought the ball up, and Okpara was coming to set a screen. He called Okpara off and made it carry because he liked the switch matchup, and he got to the rim. He didn't make the shot, unfortunately, but just seeing him kind of just take over in those spots, and he took over. I think it was coming out of a timeout when they were down 10. They're midway through the second half, and he went on his own 10-0 run. Just seeing that and the way he just was demanding the ball is just really, really encouraging as we enter the tournament.
Hey, Mo, if this team's going to get, and I asked NBA scout Maury Hanks this, if this team's going to get above its raisin, in the tournament, play above its raised. This guy has to do that. He has to become that kind of player. Yes, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, Tony. Because again, they really just have two scorers. They don't have a guy that's that set himself apart. Like, hey, I'm going to be the third guy. And you hope somebody, Estrella, Boswell, one of them, shows up. But again, today, Tony, like I said earlier, and I'll even add, if I would have told you before the game that Auburn would have out-rebounded them, made more threes, and Tennessee would have only had two guys scoring double figures, who'd you say would win?
No question about it. That's how good he was, Maury, down the stretch. To
yeah,
Matt's
no,
point.
and that's the at 49-39 point, like you said, it was a great block. It turned it up. I mean, if they make that shot, it goes up 12. You never know what happens. But again, as good as they were, Tony, up to a minute and a half left, Ament doesn't grab the rebound. Auburn guy grabs it, lays it in, and gets fouled. I mean, it's a 6-point game then. Anything could happen.
Bri, did Gillespie commit his second foul in the basketball game right before the first TV timeout, or was I imagining that? Or was
it was, and he fouled a 3-point shooter before that. That's why he ended up with the 2 fouls. That flipped the momentum when he had to leave the game, but it was his own fault that he picked up 2 fouls. Because,
and he was off the floor for how long? He was off the floor from the 16-minute mark till when?
I think they brought him back in with around 10 minutes to go in the first half.
Yep.
Maybe 12 minutes. They didn't have him out very long.
Well, they had. Here's the truth. They have no alternative. There is no choice. Like we were talking earlier, people don't want to hear this. If you
he didn't pick up another foul the whole game, I don't think.
If you had to take Ament or Gillespie off the floor, not having Ament really hurts you. Not having Gillespie, you have zero chance. That's crazy. Good on Barnes and staff for recognizing that, and I'm sure they talked to him and said, "Hey, look, don't get anything cheap. Don't run at anybody." But
Tony, if you remember, I think I'm trying to think. Yes, late in the first half, he went in and doubled on the ball on the post and made a steal. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the guy I was having a cocktail with. I said, "That's not a smart play."
No,
because they easily could have called the play. Because I remember it was away from Tennessee's bench.
Even in victory today, the Vols did some things that just kind of make you go, this group here, these guys.
And they're going to keep doing those things.
Oh yeah,
too. You're not going to change that. Yeah,
these guys are never going to be atom splitters. This is a group here that just kind of going to play on the edge and make you shake your head from time to time. But damn, they play hard. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey Tony B, it's Zach in E-Town.
Hey Zach, welcome in.
Great win, go Vols. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol on this afternoon. Now I got to give out a command to all the Vol cats tomorrow in the area listening. All the Vol cats at 1:00, get out your cats gear, and we're going to root for Kentucky over creeping, peeping Todd and the Gators.
Ain't gonna matter who you root for. Florida's going to absolutely demolish that Kentucky
team.
I
know.
I won't be
I'm
doing
saying
that.
We're going to root for them.
Brian, you won't do that? You won't cheer for...
No.
Brian over creeping Todd? Come on, man.
No, I won't either.
Matt might, though.
It'll be a cold day in hell before I cheer for Kentucky to win a basketball game.
Sorry. Love your show, Zach, but that fell on deaf ears here with us, man.
It did. I mean, I'm like...
Sorry, buddy. You just got shut down.
I did. I mean...
Sorry about that, man.
Totally negged on that one.
Yes.
One thing, and this Auburn team, and I like the idea of the playing game. But let me ask you this: if you expanded the bracket to 76 teams or something like that, it seems like teams like Auburn are getting in at the expense of, say, like a Miami or maybe that ETSU team. And I know this isn't necessarily about this game, which I do have one thing to say, but if you did expand the tournament, it could provide some of those mid-majors who get shut out by somebody like an Auburn.
I hate to tell you this. This initiative is being led by the Power League teams because they want a bigger piece of the pie. They could give two damns about the mid-major teams. It will be the Auburns getting in. It will be the Indianas getting in. They don't care about the East Tennessee States. They can go to 76 and East Tennessee State's not getting in the tournament. I mean, I know what you're saying, and in a utopia, that sounds great.
Yeah.
This is big business. This is the pigs. What's the old saying? Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
Slaughtered. Yeah.
That's enough. I mean, we've had enough. But that's what they want. Greg Sankey wants a world where 14 SEC teams get in every year, whether they deserve it or not. And I say, screw that. I say Auburn doesn't belong in. I say Oklahoma's not on any. Would they say the bubble, Matt, or the next four under consider? Oklahoma, Matt. Yeah. Oklahoma
team.
I mean, what are you talking? Are you kidding me?
Does Brian Artie have them? Brian Artie, do you have them in the tournament, Oklahoma?
Yeah, Brian. No, Jimmy Dykes does. Maury's neighbor.
Okay.
Well, they have to probably get to Saturday
neighbor.
to be in the conference, to even be in the conversation.
AKA neighbor.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Tomorrow, and maybe Maury, you could chime in on this. I don't know. With Boswell just giving you absolutely zero, I mean, he did hit those nice free throws, which looked really nice. I'm not sure if that's something he's been working on, but would you consider putting, and especially given the way that Evans played against Vandy last week, would you start with Evans in the starting five tomorrow?
Mar, are you starting Evans tomorrow? Or are you staying with what you're doing?
Again, at this late date, I'm not an expert at the University of Tennessee. I've watched him play a lot
you're an
the last month.
Yeah, you're an expert.
At this late date, Coach Barnes knows his team better than anybody. And again, you're playing a guy that played 18 minutes today, and Evans did an okay job, but you're going to replace him. And again, I'm not a big deal on who you start. So you start Amari Evans and he plays okay, and then you take him out and the other guy, he plays 18 minutes and Boswell plays 31. It doesn't matter, who starts. It matters who's on the floor when the game matters.
Yeah, I mean, I think Evans does better the more touches he gets, and the earlier he can establish himself. So, I mean, that's in the baller games he's had this year. That's what's happened. So, maybe just to get some offense tomorrow. But anyways, thank you all for doing the show. Go Vols, and we'll meet again tomorrow. See you.
Great talking to you. And by the way, same time, same bat channel. And Vandy is through to the next round. In case you're wondering. You're wondering about who Vandy's matchup is. They're one of the bye teams. And tomorrow, I think Tennessee's going to get angry at them too, and they're going to go bye-bye. 865-200-5402. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us. I love Evans. Look, I made a point in the blog today. Evans could play two. People say he can't play two. That's not true at all. He's played two to close games. Don't tell me he can't play two. He can play a two guard, okay? Now, the way I would use him is I would use him in close games. I get a lead, then I put Evans out there. I put Ament down there at the 4, and that's how I finish games when I have a lead.
Tone, would you still want that Freeman kid?
Yes.
After today?
Yes.
0-6?
Yeah, I want the Freeman kid, Brian.
Just one game, Brian.
Yes, Brian. I want the Freeman kid. Tomorrow, I would literally take him.
They have no structure. Their offense is let's have Pettiford try to beat a guy off the dribble. They don't do that. Their offense is, they don't run anything.
No.
That's what people would ask.
Well, that's what you can ask. Anybody can ask that. But I'm telling you right now, I'm a guy. My belief is, this is just my belief, this Evans guy can play. Bishop Boswell gave you 2 points today in a major college basketball game, 31 minutes. He's not good enough on defense to give you 2 minutes, 2 points rather. Can't shoot 3 balls. He's 0-4 from 3. I mean, it's not even close. No offense. Now look, he made the hustle play of the day. Time for the T33 presented by our friends at T3 Vodka. Handcrafted with passion, precision, a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean. You got to ask for it by name. Whether you're sipping it neat on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, you will taste the difference with T3 Vodka. You will experience an award-winning drinking experience. Ask for T3 Vodka by name. T3 Vodka.
Tony, have you had T3?
It's unbelievable. It's so smooth.
The only thing better than T3 is the man that put it out there, Mark Lester. It's quality stuff.
He's a great man, brother. Make no mistake about it. All right, Maury, my T3 vote is Tennessee has a flurry. Auburn can't score. They're in the middle of that 20-0 run. It's at about the 12-point mark there. I think it was the 13th, 14th, and 15 points of that 20-0 run. When that ball matriculated over to him for that 3 ball, and he's wide open on that secondary break and lets it go and nails that J. I mean, that's my T3 of the game right there, guys. That was next. Wow.
Was that when he was laying in the stands with the fans?
It was,
and then got back on the court and then hit a 3?
It was no. This, Matt, do you remember the break I'm talking about there? Right in the middle of that run, he ends up with the ball after a scramble, and he hits a 3 ball, and you could just see the air over there on Stephen L. Pearl just go right out of Stephen L. Pearl.
Yeah, I think Brian's right. It's the one where he is from the left corner where he came back in.
Oh wow!
After getting knocked down, but yeah, he hit 2 left corner threes, and that one was probably the dagger.
But 865-200-5402. I want Elijah Freeman. I think Tennessee's interested in Elijah Freeman. I think there are a couple other players in the league Tennessee's interested in. We'll see who they get. We wrote today in the bottom of the blog. Go check it out over at tclub.team, right under Byron's article, a.k.a. the Czar. It's going to be very expensive in the offseason this year. $9 million just to play. $9 million. Maury, what do you think these mid-major teams are like the ETSUs of the world? They got to be in around $2.5 million right now with their payrolls.
Tony, a lot of those schools can't get there. If you're a solid mid-major, not Akron or people like that, because they're a little bit above, I think they're on the top end of the mid-major, but Furman, $1.5 million. And Tony, I don't know if you read, but so what the new deal is in college basketball is Power 4 schools sending a staff member to the Southern Conference tournament, to the Atlantic Sun, to the Big Sky, and to scout people in person like I used to do for 23, 24 years as an NBA scout, which I just can't believe colleges are doing. You've got 32, 33 games on video. You've got all the stats. But these guys have, and again, you can't go and say, and maybe they are, you wear and I don't even know if the coaches are wearing their XYZ university shirt, but like, hey, Johnny, we're here watching you. That's how much we want you. But that's
it's a high school game. Like it's a high school game.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's, they're sending staff members to other Division I colleges to watch kids live.
The Athletic has had some incredible stuff on hoops this week, but we've kind of been poking around that the sport is getting so expensive, so quickly, it's incredible. And these big people are a premium right now. That's a really interesting point Mo just brought up, that we're now scouting like we're picking kids from high school. We're going to send some of our 25 staffers we have on Barnes' staff, send a couple people out during the week to go watch games. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air. Hi, you're
Tony B, Vincent Vegas.
Hey, welcome in.
Hey, Tony, my favorite game when I was a child back in the 70s growing up was Monopoly. My sister's favorite game was Candyland. Have you ever seen Candyland?
Do what? Your phone's clicking out on me. Go, say it again. I'm sorry.
Have you ever seen the board game for Candyland?
Sure.
it kind of rolls around in circles, right?
Yep.
That's what we're going to do to Candy. We're going to run circles around.
You know, if I thought we had a finishing gear, I think we could put it on them tomorrow. But Matt is right in reminding me that we're going to play with and play down and play around with everybody we play. It's just the nature of our team this year.
Well, my question for you is, since I named myself Vincent Vegas because it's taking all your bets, what's your bet for tomorrow on the over-under? Because I'm going to go the other way.
Well, I hit today's bet, big boy, so get you some of that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let the record show. I don't know. I don't know the total tomorrow. I wouldn't know how to even begin to think about that game.
So it's probably, what, minus 1.5 Candyland, something like that?
What do you guys think the number will be tomorrow, Bri? Where are you going, Bri? Tomorrow's number.
I think it might be close to maybe a pick 'em.
A pick 'em. I think Brian's right on that one.
Yeah. It's going to be very
close. So who are you going to pick, Tony?
No idea. Don't know. I think Tennessee.
I'll go ahead.
I think Tennessee.
I'll go ahead and pick Tennessee.
Yeah, I think Tennessee.
We got Ament back.
Yep.
And you know, two of the most I've seen in college basketball from the University of Tennessee in years occurred today. The first one occurred when Ament threw that ball behind his head while he's going out of bounds, fell into the photographer roll, took out a referee, stepped back in and hit a three.
That was the play. That's exactly right. Yep.
So I guess that's not the drive of the game.
That was it. Yes, that was. That was the play. Brian was right. That was the front of the play.
That was the play.
Yes.
The second one was Auburn threw an absolute perfect layup, alley-oop. Okay? And Para blocked it at the top of the box. Not the rim, the top of the box. What do you think about that play?
I think that's why, again, he's a guy that can ram it home and play some defense. That's what those NBA teams look for in a center. Plus, he'll be cheap for somebody next year. So, you know, look,
and you know he can actually hit a three.
He's not a bad player. No, he's not. He's a very, very athletic guy. Very good defender.
Sometimes his head leaves him for 20-minute period.
Well, he made a really silly play at the end of that game that lucky he wasn't called for when he hit that kid at midcourt in the head. And I don't know if those two guys were frustrated.
He's lucky the kid retaliated because it would have been a technical.
If the kid didn't retaliate, that would have been a 4-point play.
It would have been a technical.
It would have been a 4-point play is what it would have been. It would have been their ball.
I agree.
And you're in a 6-point game. That's a 2-point game with like 75 seconds left. You got to be smarter than that. You just have to be smarter than that.
It could have been a 1-point game with about a minute to go, and then all bets are off.
Not good. Not
now,
good.
I have a question for you. I have a question for your team here, and that is, you say you don't think Auburn is making the tournament, but they're 26 in BPI, 41 in NCAA net, and no team ever under 43, I think, in the top Power 5 conference, which includes the Big East, has ever missed the tournament. So what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? Because I don't know how they're not in.
Go ahead, Bri. What are we seeing that Vinny Vegas didn't see?
I think maybe it was Kevin or somebody said that no team has ever made the tournament with 16 losses.
Thank you. Don't you have to win games, sir? At some point, don't you have to win a few games? I mean, you're 500. Don't you at some point?
Well, if Stephen Eppen Pearl misses the tournament, I will be the happiest person in all of Davidson County.
I just think they're so.
Because that guy is a clown.
Vinny Vegas, you're my man. I thank you. I love the Vinny Vegas. Maury, what about that? You can find any of these numbers and say, well, a team with this profile and blah, 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 blah. That Auburn team does not look like an NCAA tournament team to me. I'm sorry.
No, Tony, but again, ifs and buts. You've never really had a team that's been 31-0 that loses. You go back, I don't know what the number is, but anybody that's had 28 wins, they've always made the NCAA tournament. So you can flip it around and pick Miami of Ohio over Auburn.
Hey, Brian, Tennessee's been to the quarterfinals of the SEC tourney every year since 2017. Is that any good for Rick Barnes, Bry?
I can remember not going like a decade without maybe winning one game in the SEC tournament.
Yes.
Oh, about half the time you had an automatic bye to that quarterfinals, too.
Mm-hmm.
No, Barnes is easily the best SEC tournament coach we've ever had by a wide margin. I mean, even Pearl really struggled in that thing.
Tennessee's favored by 2 tomorrow for Vinny Vegas. Early lines say. So he'll be glad to know that. If you want to jump to if you want to jump a line, jump. And if you're a drop to the 6 line guy, ideal world, you can draw Miami of Ohio, one of those atrocious mid-major teams in that world. But Tennessee needs to cheer for Wisconsin and St. John's if you want to drop to the 6 line. How about that St. John's team? Hey, Mo, he spent a ton of money.
And they both won today.
It's none of this is cheap, man. None of this is cheap at the top of that sport. It's totally out of control is what it is. As we get ready to go back to our phones at 865-200-5402, I remind you, ladies and germs, that our friends at Waterside Contracting, I'm going to shout them out because that's your ticket. You got dream about buying some land, give up the booze and the one-night stand. 25 years of making dreams come true at Waterside Contracting. Whether it's custom homes, whether it's remodels, whatever you need done, they will do it. Structural integrity, quality without compromise, literally a way of life. Waterside Contracting. Check out the website, watersidecontractingllc.com. And then when you're ready for a fresh coat of paint, you better run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Run there. Making East Tennessee beautiful since 1999, all across our area, whether it's new construction, whether it's repaints, whether it's commercial, whether it's residential, free estimates available. Tell them you heard about it here. You get 10% off your first job. And yes, several people have, and that is honored. So 10% right off for you, Josephine, baby, right off. Let's go back to our phones at 865-200-5402. I want to remind you, baseball Vols on the road this weekend. We will not be at Calhoun's on the River. We will be there next week before the Missouri series. Missouri is in the house next week. Tennessee on the road at Georgia this weekend. And Willie Heflin, aside from all this basketball stuff we're doing, this studio gets a lot of work. Will Heflin's going to be in here Sunday along with Matt after the game, the third game. And Matt, in your humble opinion, is that a series win for the Vols, yes or no, or do they get 1 out of 3?
I think they get 1 out of 3. I'm just not sure the bats are going to be good enough for them to win a series on the road, but would love to be pleasantly surprised.
Yep. And that Georgia bunch, man, they're hammering the baseball right now. As Matt said earlier, they got one kid alone that has 18 home runs. Matt, how many home runs have we hit as a team this year?
Tennessee's hit 27, and that's after they hit 4 against Tennessee Tech.
Thank goodness
for Georgia has 14.
14, I'm sorry. Thank goodness for Chef Boyardee for that Tennessee Tech bunch. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air. It's Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Hi.
Hey, guys. It's Josh.
Wings.
Tennessee right now currently on DraftKings, 1.5-point favor against Vandy.
That's
and over under 147.
Thank you. And what would you play?
I would play the Vols on the money line, not the cover, because it's going to be a close game.
Always is.
Yeah. So, do you guys think, in terms of events, Tony, after Bishop Oswell's blocked, on, I don't know who it was for Auburn driving to the basket. Do you think if he doesn't get that block off and they score on that, do you think the game is over?
No idea. But I know one thing. Basketball is a game of runs. The run had to start somewhere. It looked like Tennessee found a gear there where they just got angry. And Auburn, once Tennessee ratcheted up their defensive intensity, as Matt said, there's just no structure to what Auburn's trying to do offensively. And you could really tell. Yeah. And Stephen Pearl even tried to get a timeout in the midst of that, which I give him credit for. But it didn't slow the run. In fact, it just kind of prolonged the agony for them.
What about you, Dix and Mari? Do you think the game would have been over?
I agree with Tony. You could never tell, but it went from, again, it could have been 12 and it went to 8. So that's 4 points right there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds easier than it is, but games are won usually. If you look at a play-by-play in a stat sheet, it'll go 2-2, 4-2, 4-4, and it goes back and forth. And then you'll have a 8-0 run. And usually the team that has more of those ends up winning the game. It sounds easy, but runs are so big in college basketball. Yep. But again, if he doesn't make it and it gets to 12, let's say Tennessee misses a shot and it gets to 14. You can't predict the future, but if you're a Tennessee fan, you've got to be very happy that it didn't happen.
And what I look at, Josh, is those hustle plays all year have triggered things for this team because they make winning plays. Like, they're not the prettiest team in the world. They're not the smartest team in the world. They do things that drive you nuts, but they make enough winning plays. Put it this way. Kim Caldwell wishes she had a couple of these winners on her team.
Oh, yeah.
Because this team's got some winners. This team has some guys that know how to win games.
We were 4 for 13 from three-point land, and Tony, I think Nate made 4 big threes when it mattered most.
Yes, sir.
Because if it wasn't for him taking over today, we would have lost.
Oh, it had gotten rolled. That was going to be a roll job. Yes.
What do you think about the Vols limiting Pettiford to 12 points in the second half?
Again, thank you, Joshy boy. They Maury, what was interesting was Auburn quit getting the ball to their scorers when that whole flurry happened. And I don't know if we took something away or they just lost their focus. What do you think happened there, guys?
Again, Boswell's defense.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Boswell's defense was part of that on Pettiford.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I'd also agree that watching them play, it's kind of equal opportunity. Guys are going to shoot. He's not calling out like, hey, get the ball to this guy, get the ball to that guy.
Yeah,
I mean, they just pull whenever they feel like it.
Yep,
and that's why, if no lead was ever too big for Auburn, and you saw they were able to come back because they'll allow you to, the way they play. I mean, they took 60 shots, 26 of them were 3. They only made 7 of them, and so they're going to take enough bad shots where if you can rebound, and at times they got 16 offensive rebounds. That's why the game was so close right there, in my opinion. The game was as close as it was, and they had the lead because when Tennessee would play great defense and Auburn would throw up a shot, they wouldn't block out, and Tennessee would get another attempt at it. That's why the game, I think, why Auburn had the lead that they did, because Tennessee gave up 16 offensive rebounds.
Which Tennessee ordinarily and never does that. It was weird today, Matt, because Auburn had a couple of bad misses that were long misses that came back out. And that was in the stretch of the game there, about the 13-minute mark to go in the game. I was thinking to myself, this might not be our day. We're not getting any bounces here. The ball was bouncing funny on that end. And then all of a sudden, all that stopped. Auburn just went into total shutdown mode on offense. Matt, what did you see?
Yeah, I just think Tennessee just got serious. I mean, Auburn was out hustling them on the glass especially.
Yep.
And they were playing really good defense in the first half, kind of keeping Gillespie from doing anything. And Ament kind of went off a little bit, especially early, but they were kind of doubling Gillespie to just get the ball out of his hands.
Yep.
Which is smart. Again, like Mari said, 1.5 guys can guard Ament and Gillespie, but somebody else has to beat you. And this team just hasn't consistently had that. But I just think Auburn was kind of just out hustling and out playing Tennessee. They were playing like their season was on the line, and Tennessee was just kind of going through the motions for the most part. And you found a way to hang around and keep it close. And then you just kind of took over when Auburn just imploded on themselves, and Tennessee just let Ament kind of go to work, and you just clamped down defensively. I thought the one play in the first half that I thought was a pretty big was when Pettiford should have got his second foul when he fouled Gillespie like twice on that layup. And not only did they not call a foul, but they went to and reviewed it and gave Auburn the ball, which was just incredible, because then Pettiford went on one of his little 5-minute heaters right after that to where Auburn extended that lead that they carried into the second half. But that would have been a sneaky big play if Auburn had wound up winning, because Pettiford should have had his second foul, and that was kind of a big momentum shift early.
I didn't have a problem with the officiating today at all in that game. I didn't think that the officials pretty much stayed out of the way in the game. What'd you guys think? I mean, it's never going to be great.
I thought it was a well officiated game. I thought they
didn't bother me.
I thought they called it the same. All a coach can ask for is that you call it the same on both sides.
That's right.
Pretty clear.
When you saw both teams talking some trash, I thought they both cut it off, immediately.
Yeah.
So I don't think either team could say, yeah, we lost the game because of this.
What were you going to say,
Jackson?
Seemed
like there's a lot of trash talk and gamesmanship stuff that the TV cameras didn't catch, because you got like Kerry throwing the ball at the guy's head.
Yes.
Akpar kind of hitting the guy, coming back in on an inbound. There are obviously some jawing that went on throughout the game that doesn't look like the TV cameras picked up on.
Faye Met said Boz and Akpar dominated defensively in the second half. And really, the 7 putback points early in that big run for Tennessee is kind of what fueled it. Yeah, they did do some extra work on the glass. That's when the game swung, is when Tennessee started winning the rebounding. They just all of a sudden, like Mo said, they're getting beat up on the glass. They're getting beat up in the game. They're not getting to loose balls. They're just kind of dead to the world. And then all of a sudden, that all just stopped. We're getting every loose ball. We're coming away with everything. We're shutting you down. We're taking your passing lanes away. We're smothering you. If you put the ball on the floor, we're going to take it from you. I mean, there for a stretch, Auburn didn't even get a shot during that run. They couldn't even mount a possession with a look at the basket. It was wild. And to Vinny Vegas, our that's why when I watch that Auburn team play, to me, it's eye test. You can sit there and make the numbers say whatever you want to make them say historically, but you have to win basketball games. I'm glad you played people. You have to win some games, don't you? Don't you have to win some games? Is beating Mormon, Mississippi State, Jimmy Dykes, neighbor, is that enough? Is that enough? Maybe it's enough. Maybe we're going to make Oklahoma a tournament team now, Bri. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. We'll go back to the phones. Very interesting game today and the way it played out. And I go
Oklahoma belongs in maybe before Auburn does.
I'll tell you one thing about Oklahoma. At least they're formidable on offense. That's exactly right. At least they're formidable. Now, they don't guard anybody. I'm not sure they could guard Farragut High School.
I don't think Auburn guards very well, so what do?
Maury, what does Auburn do well? When you watch them as a basketball team, Maury, when you watch, what's their calling card?
They play at their pace. They play fast. They try to speed the opposing team up. I've always thought that really good teams try to impose their will, their style, but you're going to get into a game where you can't do that, and you need to be able to play at different paces at different times, sometimes during the same game, not just, we're going to play, we have to play slow because Wisconsin's going to grind us out, and you've got some teams, you may have to do it during the same game. I think you've got to be able to play at different paces. What Auburn does best is they try to speed the game up, get on the offensive boards. But again, just the way they shoot the ball, they don't shoot a high percentage. They take a lot of, in my opinion, contested shots, and they live and die like that. Alabama does the same thing. Alabama's just got a lot better players.
My friends at Calhoun's, I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, before you go back to our phones, they are the taste of Tennessee. I had a vision just now. I've had the ribs twice on these Saturdays. We get in our Saturday game here, and I'm going to go get me some ribs. And I'll tell you what I've been doing is bringing them back home and kind of, this is how good they are, putting them in the refrigerator, waiting till I'm done here, putting them on my little pizza stone in the oven, and then going to town on them on a Saturday night after doing this show. I'm in a little rhythm over here, but they're the taste of Tennessee. You taste the freshness. It's unbelievable, Andy. And you can get it on your way to and from wherever you're going. They've got takeout at any of their locations. Plus, always a great place to sit down. Plus, you're always going to taste the difference. You're always going to taste the freshness. As they've got their own USDA butchers each and every day, cutting that moit, Peyton Manning. I mean, they make it happen every day, and you will taste the freshness at Calhoun's. They are the taste of Tennessee. Let's go back to the phones, and we get our next call in. As I say hello and welcome in, you're on Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime. Hi.
Hey, Tony B. This is Steve from Hickson. How are you today?
Hey, Steve in beautiful Hickson. Welcome in.
Yep, that's right. Hey, good. Yeah, everything's going good, especially now that Tennessee won. But I was just a couple of comments. It's good to see Tennessee on the right side of a comeback. They've blown so many leads this year. It's good to see them, go on that huge 20-0 run.
That's a great.
It was amazing. It was amazing to watch. But to put it that way, But I was going to ask a question, which y'all thought about. This may be an obvious question, or maybe like a Doug question. But when Stephen Pearl got that technical foul there late, I think Tennessee was up in double digits late. Do you think that was a cry out to his team, just kind of like maybe one last, like the old shock to the system, like, "Hey guys, wake up! I'm here for you. I'm on your side." And just trying to, and I know, it cost them a couple free throws, but I know coaches do that just to try to like jolt their team back into life or whatever. But do y'all think that was just a cry like, "Hey guys, I'm here, do something"? You know what I mean? You think that's?
Hey Mo, what do you think?
Was kind of his goal there? Because
he was warned a few times. Was that a frustration, technical, Mo, or did he do that by design?
Yeah, I think. He was on the floor a lot. There was a couple times during that run where they could have given it to him. You know what I mean?
They told him a couple. He got warned twice. It looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, there were 2 or 3 times, and I just think. Does anybody, Matt, Brian? Do you know how much time was left in the game?
They were up 61-51. They just given up 20 straight points.
Yeah,
when that happened.
At that point,
that's a good thought by you, Steve.
He may have thrown in the towel.
Yeah,
but again, they fought. They fought back and made it close. And it needed to again an offensive rebound. It was 61-51 when that happened.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. So and then. Yeah, then Pettiford hits a 3 to get it to 61-54 at the under the 4-minute timeout. But yeah, I mean, that was just frustration.
Your point though, Steve's really a good one, which is that you almost have to hit the reset button in some way. So whether he did it on purpose or not, he jolted his team back in momentarily. They got to the point where if that Okpara play, if that kid does not retaliate after Okpara hit that kid in the head when they were looking at it, thank goodness he did, because you're at 75 seconds. That could have been a 2-point game. Yep. After that feverish comeback. Can you imagine if we would have had to recapture momentum there? That would have been the most Tennessee this year's team thing of all time to do that, to throw that away.
Yeah, and for some reason, I thought that was on Estrella. I had that, but then when they showed the replay, I thought, it was on Okpara.
Yeah, it was Okpara, and he hit him in the head too.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
He did, yeah.
I mean,
I told my son, I said, they're lucky they didn't get a technical foul there.
Very.
Or flagrant one.
Very lucky. Very lucky. I thought they were going to do that.
Tony could have went to 65, 61 if he would have made the two free throws.
And the ball.
Auburn would have had the ball.
Yeah, bad news right there, man.
Well, let me ask y'all the question. I'll let y'all get. I know y'all running late here, but Tony. But okay, a rule. Okay, so when Stephen Pearl got the technical foul, we got two free throws. I think I missed one of them. But why did Auburn get the ball back there? I thought it was Tennessee got two shots in the ball.
It was going to be their ball. It was after Ament made a three-pointer to make it 61-51, and it was going to be their ball. So you just give two free throws, and then it's the other team's ball.
I got you. I thought I wasn't sure because I thought we're getting the ball, and I told my son. He said no. He said we're getting the ball. I said, Mason, they're giving the ball to Auburn, dude. So anyway, so if you have possession, get technical foul, you retain possession, but give two free throws.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
And then the scenario we're talking about where it's that mid-court play, that you would have had the flagrant one that you were talking about because he went out of his way to hit the kid in the head. And
you got two shots in the ball there.
And two shots in the ball. And by the way,
I got you.
That almost happened. I mean, if I'm Tennessee, I'm saying to him later, but I don't know that you can coach it out of a guy because he's a senior, and this group just does crazy things. They
do. I told my son,
that's who they are.
I've been a lifelong fan and all the Tennessee athletes since I was born, and this is the most maddening basketball team that I've witnessed in years up there. It's like you can't figure them out. You know, I think they don't have as many outside shooters as in the past. You know, you have Gillespie and Ament that are pretty dead eye, but past that, it's not a talent drop off. But it's there's not. I don't know. But and one more point, Tom, I'll let you go. But the Okpara block on the alley-oop, that was a poster, man. You talk about a poster. How he blocked that ball and did not foul, it was amazing to me. I just knew it was going to be a foul. I thought, here we go, But anyway, I hope that makes the top 10 on somewhere today. So
thank you, my man.
Tonight, rather. Hey, y'all have a good night.
The ball stayed in bounds.
Great
so Tennessee can get it and go the other way with it.
Hey, Maury,
usually that goes out of bounds.
Maury, from a scout perspective, obviously, immense people will put that in a cut reel. But when you see a play like that as a scout, that's got to open their eyes, right?
Yeah, they won't even need to do that, Tony. I mean, every game, with as many scouts as there are, as much video and whatnot. But like I said, he's a special talent.
People here say they think we're kidding. The guy's got a chance playing the NBA. Really?
Who's that, Tony?
Okpara, I'm talking about. That block he made. I'm talking about the block.
I mean, he's there's guys like him in the NBA now. If you said 1 to 10, I mean, I'd probably say 5. I mean, he's got to get with the right team. He's, his offense is behind, but there's guys nowadays with as many teams do pick and roll. I mean, he can pick and roll to the basket. He can block shots. He can, sprint to the basket, on the break. But again, he's got to get stronger. His hands need to improve, and he needs to become a better offensive player. But there's guys like him in the NBA.
Back to the phones we go at 865-200-5402. I mean, the Sixers have a couple of guys. A couple of their big people are total just washed up stiffs at this point. Let's go back to our phones. The NBA is the weirdest league because literally like 40% of those teams, when they take the floor right now, are trying to lose games. Literally 40% of the league. Now, if that isn't a broken league, I don't know what is. Literally 40% of their teams are trying to lose on a nightly basis. You're watching gypsies and vagabonds on some of these teams when they take the floor. Hello and welcome in. You're on Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm. Hi.
I'm on.
You are. Go right ahead.
Hey, boy, Billy from Harriman. I saw Joshua Boy with another great call in my book. I think that makes about 380 in a row, bro.
He's on a hot streak, boy, Billy.
Hey, and before I get to my main points, man, I saw you take a little shot at Farragut High School a few minutes back saying some team couldn't even guard us. And they might not be able to, bro. We got a guy that hit 10 threes in a game a couple months ago.
Let's freaking go, man. 10 threes is, last time I checked, that's 30 points.
30 burger from behind the arc. Hey, and this one's on me, bro. But I didn't even get to see most of the second half of the game, and probably in the first half. I booked a 90-minute massage a couple of weeks ago, looking at the standings, figured we was a double bye. just lock it in. But turns out I go into my massage worried, down at the half.
Yep.
And then I see we come out, and down goes Stephen M.F. and Pearl. Baby, let's go, Vols.
Maury, what would you rather do? Watch that basketball game or get you a 90-minute massage?
Probably get a massage.
Yeah, I would say if you gave me a choice right now, I'm up to go with the massage.
Where do you get a massage at?
Him? He goes to VIP.
Well, I mean, you want me to say the business? I mean,
no, he goes to a couple of, never mind. Boy, Billy and Harriman. There's no telling.
Right.
There's a lot of places between here and there, right, Billy?
There's a lot of places you could go, man. We'll wait to see if anybody wants to sponsor the show, sponsor a segment or something. Hey, I got to say
Call you Smiling Billy.
My main... Say what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
My main man, my boy J.P. Estrella, man. I look at the box score, 4 points, man. I saw Ament got his, but if this team's going to really do something, the show's going to figure out how to coexist, like those license plate bumper stickers, you see all over town. Him and Ament got to figure out how to get 40. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Coexist. The McKay's parking lot. No question.
And
shout out to McKay's.
Last thing I got, bro.
Yes.
Funniest thing I've seen all year, 31-0. Miami of Ohio loses in the first round of their little OVC or Sunbelt Conference, wherever the heck they play. I mean, that stuff is hilarious, bro.
And who did it is crazy, too, because it was Frank Martin that did the honors today with UMass, of all places. Most random thing in the world.
Man, that's crazy, bro. I got work to do. I'm out of here.
You're the man, boy, Billy. You're an absolute imbecile, and I love you. And I mean that with all due respect. Shout out to Josh.
To go to work after getting a massage.
Oh, man. I don't know how anybody does that, but that's, boy, Billy never quits working. He's an Harriman. People in Harriman are known for their work ethic. He never quits working. It's a way of life. Mo's going to give us a quick preview of that Tennessee Vandy game tomorrow. We'll get a few more calls in. I got to remind you, my man Josh Collins and McCollins Insurance Agency. Shout out! Erie Insurance. They've They've covered this room in here. We've had so many things happen. They've never argued with us, not one time, on a claim. And Josh Collins and the Collins Insurance Agency, they get up every day and they serve you, the living Vol fan. And Josh, your new billboard that you have out in the North Knoxville community, I drove by that thing the other day and you scared me in a good way. But you will experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. I'll go back to our phones. And let me get our next call in. On a day where the Vols emerge victorious, and Matt Dixon's right. We're north of coming up on an hour and 20 minutes of doing this activity, which really is a labor of love, and you're on the air. Hi.
Hey, TB. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Greg in Columbia. And by the way, 865-200-5402 if you want to get in with a line available. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, great game there in the last 12 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes to go, we were down 51-44.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Nate got the word from his head coach. I want you to take over and show what you can do, buddy. But he put that in his head. Went inside the paint, got an and-one a couple of times, got fouled, hit his free throws. Like I've always talked about, hit the free throws, guy. Hit the free throws. And took over. I've never seen him do that before all year long. He has not done that all year long.
Well, Matt's right. He was calling people off screens. He was pointing people around. He was moving people around. Maury, I've often thought this year that if they wanted to, they could have had a package for him playing point guard. I think that kid has the ability to do that, Maury. Yes,
I'm sorry, Tony, who could play point guard?
Nate Ament. If they wanted to, just a little bit at a time, they could let him handle the ball and kind of do his thing up top.
Yeah, he handles the ball. He handles the ball well enough, and also since they don't really run quote unquote, set plays, screen to screen or stuff like that, it's more of a motion based offense. And like I said about that play earlier on when we first got on the show, he came across, caught the ball about 12 to 15 feet, went up. Everybody thought he was going to shoot it. Would have been a very easy shot for him. Guess what? The guy in the low post defender came off. He just dropped it down. Guy caught it, laid it in. He's got a great feel for the game, Tony.
Really special player. And I hope he takes the next little step because it'll look great in March. He's the type of guy nobody wants to see in March. Gillespie has to start hitting shots. He has got to make his fair share. He cannot continue this little tailspin he's in. This team is not going to beat real teams if he does that. They're just not.
Tony, let me echo something or add to something that
Yes.
Mr. Hanks said earlier
Yep.
about the recruiting going on at the smaller D1 schools.
Yes.
I've never heard since Bruce Pearl came to Columbia and visited a guy, watched the guy play back probably, I don't know, in the 20 teens.
Mm-hmm.
He brought the guy to Auburn, and he played some for him down there. That's the first time and the last time I've ever seen anybody there. But the thing about junior college kids, and I'll just echo this, they're not. I'm not a fan. Of course, Columbia State plays Walter State every year.
Mm-hmm.
Walter State headed to the national tournament this year. And let me just put this out. Hopefully somebody from the UT group is listening to your show.
Mm-hmm.
They've got guys that can hit three-pointers that I've never seen. The ease and the continuation that it is with these guys, it's the best I've ever seen anywhere I've ever watched.
That's a Walter State right now?
Yeah.
They got
Walter
some
State
shooters.
right
They
now.
got some shooters.
They've got some shooters, buddy. They hit 16 against us. And they were averaging 100 and something points a game, which is great as well for junior college.
Wow.
But the thing about it is, Tony, I'll say this about shooters from the three-point line. I don't know if people that are listening or watching you today realize this, but good shooters practice there, and it's muscle memory. Muscle memory. And I've seen them use the machines. They can use two balls, and the machine will kick a ball back to them about every 5 seconds or so, and they can shoot 100 plus. I've seen them shoot 150 from the three-point line. And it's muscle memory. Their muscle memory gets that shot perfectly every time. Once that muscle memory is there, guys that are good at it can knock them down.
Well, Maury and I were talking the other day off the air, and thank you, Greg, about those guys at the NBA level. It's wild how good they are shooting three balls. Like, if you go watch those guys, sit there and watch them practice, or go out there and watch those guys warm up before a game, I mean, they're making shots. You just sit there and go, how in the hell can you be this good at something? Daryl Morey, who's a total loser, by the way, just came out and said they ought to quit giving away 3 points for these shots in that league. It's becoming so easy for those guys to hit them. They can all hit them. That's all the game is now. It's target practice. And Maury, at the collegiate level, there's still that imperfection in the game, right? You still get this imperfection, which is kind of which makes the sport interesting at this level.
Tony, it's an easy saying. That's why they play the game. You don't know who's going to show up, who's going to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
They're still college players. You know what I mean?
You can pay them all you want. They're still kids.
Yeah, I mean, I heard one of your listeners earlier today or something talking about Ament, and now that you get paid money, you need to play. And I was in the NBA a long time. There's a difference between being injured and being hurt. And, nobody knows if a kid's injured or hurt. There's a big difference between it. And, just that they're getting paid money doesn't change that. Now, again, I'm not saying some kids don't shut it down when they shouldn't, but, to kind of besmirch somebody's, character like that over, you think he's not injured. Well, nobody really knows except the guy and maybe his doctor and his coach. But college basketball that's why they play the games. That's why the NCAA tournament's the greatest. The first week's probably the greatest thing in sports because there's so many upsets. And again, that may go away with the mid majors and the low majors being plucked like junior college teams. They're basically junior college teams nowadays.
It's sad, man.
Being able to transfer right away and things like that. You don't see guys 3 or 4 years at a mid-major MAC school. And so that may go away. It'll be interesting to see this year and next year how many wins, how many 12 seeds beat 5s and how many upsets there are, because a lot of people believe that's going to go away.
Hey, Dixon, the thing that's going to hurt this year, too, is that we've already had some of these teams that can play in the mid-major ranks lose. Teams that would have been on those lines that maybe they get bumped down a line. There's going to be a lot of competition, Matt, for the 13 and 14s now with some of this crazy stuff that's happening in these mid-major leagues.
Yeah, a lot of teams, like Belmont got upset early, and that was a pretty solid team, but they're a great example of this. I mean, I think they have 3 or 4 former players that start at high major schools, including Gillespie. The guy at I think Ole Miss is the best players from there.
Yes.
So, it's just almost impossible for teams like that to be able to make those deep runs because you don't have, the 4, 3-year starters on your team anymore because they all transfer out, and it really sucks that's the case. And I'm not sure there's a solution there, but hopefully there's at least a couple of upsets a year to keep that thing interesting and fresh. Last year there was almost nothing, but this year, we'll see. It's not shaping up to be that with how bad the bubble is, and with some of those low one bid league teams just getting upset. It's not shaping up to be an upset filled tournament.
And Greg, to your point, the Vols were 21 of 27 from the foul line in the second half, and that will travel. You shoot 77%, you're going to win a lot of games. They have to. This team has to win in the margins like that. To Maury's point, them not winning the rebounding and still winning the basketball game shows you how great Nate Ament is, because he went crazy. Basically, what Nate Ament did is what this guy from Italy is doing, this Pasciatino guy. He smashed 3 home runs today, just like that dude. He had a magic wand in his hand today. He did whatever you wanted to do it and did it as much as he wanted to do it there down the stretch. Hey, Living Vol fan, dribble into Alumni Hall. We got 2 converging seasons right now. We got 3 balls over here. We got home runs over there. Finally, some home runs over there. And they've got it all covered. Plus, we got spring practice online, and they've got it all covered. Follow the GMAC. You can get a. You can't get a. I was going to make a little joke. I got to stop myself. I got to edit myself here on the fly here. They've got all the latest apparel, the great top brands. They've got the largest selection of gear. They got the best customer service around. You go in their store, you're going to feel taken care of. Any of their locations, I can promise you this. 6 Tennessee stores. 6 Tennessee stores. Shop online at alumnihall.com. You can download the app as well. Remember, for every $150 you spend, you get $10 in hall cash. You can save them up, use them the next time you're in, whatever you want to do. But they're the best fall shopping destination. Online at alumnihall.com. Let's go back to the phones. But the muscle memory that Greg talked about, it's a truth. Muscle memory. For some of those guys, the hardest thing in the world to make that foul shot. I like Carey today. Did Carey threw up a couple bricks, right, Bri, from the foul line?
He actually made 3 or 4, which is amazing for him.
He made his 2 at the end of the first half off that great pass that Ament had that Maury's brought up, where we kind of stole points at the end of the first half.
No, that was huge because they scored. Tennessee scored. They got to stop. They came back and were able to get that right before. And that was huge. Again, I don't know what the exact number was, but I'm making this up. Let's say it's 8. Instead of going to 12, you get it back to 6 or whatever it is. And people don't think about that. But then I think it just changes the tempo of how you come out in the second half.
I was wrong about Kerry. He only missed one. I don't know where I got that. Hey, Kerry, you're all right with me, man. You're all right with me. Let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome in.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
Hey, what's up?
Greg really got me thinking. Walter State scores 110 points a game, and it's muscle memory or this machine. Coach, is Coach Hanks still there?
Coach?
Yep.
He was talking about some kind of machine they've got, Coach, where the ball, they make two shots, it kicks it back to can you explain that machine to me?
Yes, every school in the country has one. It's basically called a gun, and you shoot it, and it's got a big catches the ball. It comes through the net, and it goes in, and it'll shoot it out. So you usually have 2 or 3 balls going at once. And so it's
now, if we go get a couple of people from Wally High, can we score 100 points a game, Coach? I mean, between that and the muscle memory, between the machine and the muscle memory.
Oh, I mean, shooters shoot the ball, and non-shooters don't shoot the ball.
Oh, they got some shooters. They got some shooters, Coach. They score 110 points a game.
They got some shooters.
I don't know. I mean, I got to go negative. We don't have any shooters. Besides Nate, Nate the God. I mean, if he was a rapper in the Wu-Tang Clan, he would be called Nate the God. Because, he's all we got.
He's so good. He basically, like Matt said, there's a guy over there setting a screen. He's like, "Get away from me, you flea!" Like
no, Coach Hanks in an off year. Where would Nate the God be drafted? Like, I'm hearing top 10. I mean, where would that guy go in like an off year?
Yeah,
top 3?
Because what he's referencing is this is a generational year. It's a great question, Mo. Like, in a typical year, where is Nate Ament in that draft? In a typical year?
I mean, again, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Top 5.
Yeah. I'll tell you who looks lost, Maury, and it's no real surprise to you, but that kid from Rutgers the other night, the Sixers played him. What an awful player. That, oh, God, what's his name? Not Harper's son.
2 kids. They had one at 76ers, and they got one with...
Not Harper's son, the other one.
Jazz.
Yeah, the kid that plays for the Jazz. Not Harper's son, the other kid, yeah.
Right.
Well, it's been very illuminating. I mean, some of the callers you've got, I've learned a lot. But I tell you, I'm not going under wings, but I would bet the house on Vanderbilt tomorrow. The way this team shoots the basketball, give me a break. Vanderbilt's going to put up what, 80, 85 points.
You and Nega Dave, you ought to meet in the parking lot of the former Bourbon Bird.
Just telling you what I've seen, Sheet. Just telling you what I've seen.
You ought to meet in the parking lot of the Bourbon Bird, and you guys get together and break it down scientifically. And look, I was in the mindset that this was going to be a one-and-done deal, and it wasn't going to bother me, and because the NCAA, the SEC tournament, the Vols have bigger fish to fry, and I'm not into grinding my team into the ground. But hey, I do get it. This team's got a lot of pride, and Matt said it today.
Might be playing for a seed line tomorrow.
Might be. Ace Bailey's who I'm thinking of, and boy, does he blow. Maury, that Ace Bailey guy, when you look at him and Nate Ament, Ace Bailey guy is not a serious basketball player, is he? Or am I missing something?
I mean, Tony, I've watched him enough. I just know Rutgers spent a boatload of cash on both him and the kid that, Harper's kid.
Yep.
And didn't make the NCAA tournament last year. I mean, they spent a boatload of cash on him.
How do you do that,
Well, there's a lot of teams that have spent money, and again, you don't spend it on the right guys, or you don't have the right mix of players. I mean, you and your 18 listeners talk about the school up north all the time. They've got a bad mix of players in terms of not meshing.
Yes.
I mean, Tony, I was shocked that they held on to win that game. I mean, they're up 10 or 12, and Missouri's not a great team, and then you turn around and boom, the game's tied.
Yes.
I mean,
how did Kentucky do that, Matt?
It was really amazing that I thought they were going to piss the game away.
It's the same.
Nobody closes games out well anymore.
That's right. It's
Like,
the same
even
thing
like
with us.
Florida doesn't.
Yeah.
Arizona's blown leads a few times this year. Vandy tried to do it here last weekend. Like the ability to close out games, like teams just aren't very good situational anymore. And I guess it probably has to do with the roster turnover. You just don't work on that stuff enough in practice because you're working on just kind of the more basic your offense defensive sets. But it's alarming to see teams just give up like double-digit leads in about a 2-minute span. It happens all the time.
That makes great sense, though. If you've got guys that haven't played together, the cohesion at the end of games, like Vanderbilt was, here we are, no Nate Ament last week. We're all beat up, the whole thing. And they're on their heels. They came, if the only thing separating them from gagging that game away was about another 100 seconds on the clock. Because I'm not sure what that was about, but Matt's right. That's a great point, Matt. That's a hoopty Missouri team. Kentucky's holding on for dear life. Zach Attack came in here earlier and he tried to get us all out. Let's all cheer for them against Florida. I'm like, no. And by the way, they're going to get their world rock tomorrow. They're going to get out there and they're going to do the J to the O to the B in the middle of the squared circle.
That was another reason why winning today was important. You didn't want to give Kentucky fans the ability to say, well, we went further than Tennessee. We won 2 games and they went 1 and done.
Matt, has that crossed your mind? Matt Dixon.
Not really, because if Kentucky fans are measuring their season success on like regular season or SEC tournament results, then that tells you all you need to know about what they did that year.
They're brutal.
That does make that first session tomorrow. That's a pretty hot ticket, I bet, with Kentucky and Florida and then Tennessee Vandy. It's hard to have a better 2-game session there tomorrow in Nashville.
Back to the phones we go. That's exactly right. Those that are in the profession love that. Hi, you're on the air. Welcome in.
Hey, what's up, Tom? Lee.
Hey, Lee. Welcome in.
I'll give Kentucky some credit. They haven't like the one team that somewhat played with Florida over the last
That's right.
months.
Last weekend. You're right.
I think they're the only team that hasn't been beaten by double digits by them, but I don't think they're winning tomorrow.
And it looked like they were going to get run out, and they kind of hung around. You're right.
Yeah. No, Matt's right. Like the situational stuff in college basketball is poor to say the least. Like low mid major, high major, whatever. It's all every game you watch. Like these teams really struggle in situations. I mean, there's like you talked about some of those like higher. The teams in the low mid majors that won their conference that lost. Several of them lost just because they didn't know how to manage games at the end. Like when you. Game being tied, you got the ball with 14 seconds, and you're not the one that gets the last shot off in the game, and it costs you a game. Just stuff like that. It's maddening. Yeah, Matt's right. Look at all the numbers. Yeah. Like everything says the game is better overall, but then when you watch it, these teams don't function when they need to function at the most important times sometimes.
And we are again because we had a guy earlier say this. So. Who made a wonderful point, which is for all the success we've had this year and all the things this team does well, they just do these things like you're talking about. There's 18 seconds to go in a first half. We had a game a couple weeks back where each team got 2 looks at it from there. These kids don't think like you should think on the floor or conventionally the way you should think if you're coached to consider time and score. It's almost like they're just kind of out there playing.
No, they don't. Like, talking about that Navy team, which was like all seniors, like literally a tie game. Like it's 14 seconds to go, and they got the ball, and they put up the shot with 5 seconds left, but the other guy hits a shot to beat them. Like you would think a team like that would at least know to get the last shot off. But anyway, I'd say that Auburn team, like. Man, in no way would I advocate for that team ever to get to the tournament. But they do have wins over like Florida, Kentucky, Arkansas, NC State. I mean
they've got a weird ass resume, is what they have.
Yeah, they beat St. John's. Like I don't know. I mean, I get it. I don't think they should be in, but if you don't put them in, you're going to put like Indiana or Cal or Virginia Tech or something in there, and they're not deserving either. So I don't know what you do with all that.
What this thing ought to do, what we ought to see, and there is just no question this is the truth. All this talk about going to 76 teams ought to stop right now when you look at the bubble this year. Because at the end of the day, 3 or 4 teams are going to get in that have zero business. They're just not, I hate to use this term, eye test, but they're just not good. That Auburn team today is just not. They're not of postseason timber. They're just not. But I know what you're saying. No. But their overall record says, whereas you kind of watch. I don't know what they're going to do with Miami of Ohio, guys. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know.
They'll be safely in. They're not going to leave them out.
Think so?
Yeah, I think they're safe. They're going, had they lost in the regular season, lost that last game versus Ohio, then I think they would be in a lot of trouble. But I feel like they're probably going to. I'm not really sure how you can leave them out at 31-0. Like, look, I don't think they're the best team in their own league. But to go undefeated, you have to reward that. You just have to. I mean, you got like a 1 in 30,000 chance before the season to run that schedule completely, without a loss. Like all these other bubble teams, even though they're not good, like they wouldn't have run through that schedule undefeated. They would have taken a loss. I kind of felt bad for them today. It's like, okay, you go 31-0 and like behind the next door is Frank Martin. Like you got to beat that guy. Like it's just, you kind of sort of see it coming,
No question.
But yeah, as far as today goes, yeah, I thought it was just a really good one just to get a win. Like I don't even care if it was Auburn or whoever it was. Just like we needed to get a win today.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I give Auburn credit. Like one thing Auburn does well is rebound. They're a top 10 rebounding team in the country. And I know that was a huge point of emphasis for Stone Cold Stephen Effin. Like they got, we annihilated them in that first matchup, and he didn't want that to happen again. So I mean, that was an emphasis for them. Like they didn't want to get punked on the boards again, but that's really about all they really do well. But and obviously Ament, like looking healthy. That's the biggest thing out of all of this. I'm kind of like you. Like I wasn't like really like super high on going really far in this tournament. Like get your feet underneath you, maybe get a win. But man, I really want to beat Vandy after what happened in Nashville.
That's a point.
And then in Knoxville.
That's a point. Amen. I don't want to lose Vanderbilt twice in 6 days, Danny White. I'm talking to you, Danny White. I'm talking to Danny White now. I don't want to lose to Vandy twice in 6 days. But you're right.
Let's get them back. Let's get them back, and then I don't know, but
then start Berg against Florida. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where I'm at, man. Let's throw Berg out there against Florida and go home.
I almost don't really disagree with you.
No, I mean, you're not beating this Tennessee team is not beating that Florida team. I'm sorry, I watch a lot of college basketball. That's something that's not on my Cinco card. But thanks, Lee. Maury, they're not going to leave Miami, Ohio home, are they? They got to put them in, right?
Again, Tony, I mean, you can just go by past, and, I'm not fake Joe Lenardi or whatnot, but no team that's ever won this many games has been left out. Again, as you said earlier, Auburn has, 16 losses?
Yeah.
They do have some good wins, but in the SEC, they beat Florida, but they also lost to some bad teams. Tony, as I've said in your show before about the 20-point rule, and I say it, most people, don't think about it, but if I gave you 20 points at the start of the year to use over 31 games, and I always say it can save a guy's job, or it can get a guy a new job. Miami, Ohio was playing with fire most of the season.
Yeah, they were.
Last week they beat Ohio by 2, Toledo by 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you just go through this. Their last 3 games they won, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be in. Yeah. I think it's a great story.
Yeah.
They won their last 3 games by 2 points. They won a game against Buffalo by 2 points. They won a game against UMass earlier by 2 points. They beat Buffalo by 3. I mean, you go through this, it's just amazing. They beat Akron, who I think is the best team in that league. John Gross is a great coach, was at Illinois and Ohio before that, and they've been to the NCAA tournament the last 2 or 3 years. I think they've won a game in the tournament once or twice in the last couple of years. They beat them by 3. You just go through this, their entire year, and they kind of got like a horseshoe in their back pocket. And they just ran out of luck today.
Here's the thing I know. If Tennessee gets matched with one of those teams in the NCAA tournament, they will bludgeon one of those teams on the boards.
Yes, again, as you guys have Matt and Brian have talked about,
when you
before,
play on the boards like
they
we
talk
do,
about if
that travels.
It's all determined by matchups, and it's all determined after the first day of if your bracket opens up. You know, I know everybody's upset that Tennessee hasn't went to the Final Four. The last 2 years, they lost to better teams. You know, none of those teams got upset, and you weren't playing, a team that upset them.
Hey, Matt, if we get to that 4 or 5 line, I want to be put in Duke's region. I'm just going to say it out loud. They've got those 2 injuries, and I want to crack at them. If we got to get on that 4 or 5 line, Matt. I know that's crazy talk. I know a lot of people think that's nuts. And
that'd be fun.
I'm telling you. I want to play a team like that.
Is Washington, D.C. one of the sites for the Sweet 16?
I don't know. I haven't looked that far ahead.
Because I think that's where they would be.
That Duke team, I'm telling you right now. And by the way, about Auburn, if they took that last 10 criteria to what Lee was saying, if they took that last 10 criteria in there with that 7-game losing streak they had in the midst of all this, there's no way in hell that team would get in. Maury, is that a good thing or a bad thing they took the last 10 criteria out, the way you're playing at the end of the
Tony,
year?
I always said, like, a dear friend of mine got fired years ago.
Right.
And the AD, one of the criteria was they're 19-12.
Yeah.
And they lost 7 of their last 9.
Right.
And she uses that against him. And I go, hold on. So if he would have won 7 out of his last 9 and still been 19-12, you would have kept him? Like, I think to look at if you got guys that are injured and stuff like that.
Yes.
But you can see teams play bad at the end of the season that get in the tournament and again win a game. The team they're supposed to play the second round, they get upset. Boom, they play them and they start rolling.
Pretty great. It's pretty the whole sport. Like, to your point, you run around, you have all these possessions. And the whole sport is so arbitrary.
Well, that's what too many players don't see, Tony. That just how important every possession is.
Yep. Who do you guys like in the night session here? We've got Ole Miss, Georgia later on.
I like Ole Miss's defense has showed up so far in this tournament and just put a stranglehold on Texas, and now they're doing the same thing to Georgia.
All right. Who do we like in the late night game tonight in the SEC, Bri?
This is a big bubble game for Oklahoma.
Yep.
Texas A&M can end their dream tonight.
Yep.
I want to say Oklahoma pulls it off.
Outscores
Call
them.
me crazy.
No, I think they outscore them. The line's 1.5. The total in that game, Mo, is 160. Is 162.5. Mo, what do you say
Oklahoma
to that?
and A&M?
Yes.
I don't see a lot of defense playing on that, Tony. I don't gamble.
Right.
Talking to you's hard enough. So
interesting.
I think you could go. I think you could see over because there's not going to be a lot of defense.
Yep.
Played in that game.
Hey, Matt, that would be one game worth staying up to watch because that will be a crazy game to close the second day down there. That's going to be a nutso track meet.
Yeah, it definitely can be.
I mean, those two teams do not care about defense. Oh, but
no, Tony, there's not a lot of things I can guarantee you, but I can guarantee you I will not be up to watch that game.
I still can't get over how Lenardi has Oklahoma in the bubble conversation. Didn't they have a 10-game losing streak?
It doesn't matter.
Play?
They play in the SEC. Lord. It doesn't matter.
Have they beaten anybody?
It
I guess they won in Nashville.
Matter.
blew the 20-point lead.
Yeah, they beat Missouri, who's supposed to go to the tournament.
I mean, these teams beat each other in this league, and then it's like, well,
and that's why with the net and whatnot, because you're beating other good teams, and that's why people talk about like Miami of Ohio. Nobody will play them. Now, again, I don't buy all that because, again, I do this for a living. They're not like nobody will play Liberty. Nobody will play Akron. That's why you see a lot of these teams early in the season going to play similar type teams on a neutral floor. They get a guy like me to put the game together. They pay guys like me money to put the game together. And so I know some teams, Miami of Ohio didn't have that reputation last year. Now, when he says they can't play anybody, again, nowadays the school of thought is you either play quad 1 teams or you play quad 4 teams, which, Tony could start on point guard and beat the quad 4 teams. So the quad 2 and quad 3 aren't getting a lot of opportunities.
And
so that is a real thing. When they say, well, they didn't play any quad 1 or quad 2, they didn't get that opportunity. Somebody has to schedule them to play them.
Isn't that an interesting thing with that sport? It's kind of hidden in plain sight. But that schedule, and then at the end of the year in Oklahoma can stand up and go, yeah, but look at us. No shit. You played in the SEC. I mean, I'm really glad you had a difficult schedule. I mean, okay. And you have a couple of wins, like to Matt's point. The sun shined on you a couple days. I will say this about them, though. They were pretty impressive in Knoxville. I mean, physically, that's a pretty physically skilled basketball team. I will say that. They got some high-end. They're a team, Matt, that if they somehow got into that NCAA tournament, I would not want to get across from them. Because if they're on that particular day, you are going home. They're a little
one thing
scary.
I'll give them credit for, Tony, Coach Porter Mosier, like Matt said, they lost like 10 straight games. Then they came back and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
They won 6 of 8.
They won 7 out of their last 9.
Oh yeah,
they won their last 5.
And they started the streak when they came here. That was a very, very hard fought game here.
They were down 13 in the first half, and they were eventually up 17 in the second half. They had a 30-point turnaround last night.
Again, Bri, you don't take your eye off the TV when they're playing because they're volatile too. Tonight's gas game's going to be wild tonight. Maybe I'm up, maybe I'm not. Maury will not be up. But if you're around and you want to put a bet on that one or any of the action that's going on the next couple of days, my friends at VIP Play, you bet 20, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code, the phrase that pays is TN Tony. That's what they call me, TN Tony. And if you enter that promo code, it allows us, you're supporting the program, and we appreciate you. Live Always 200-plus leagues. They're wrapping up at Sawgrass right now after some rain earlier in the day and playing in the twilight there. It's a beautiful scene in Jacksonville. There's several plays you can have there in the golf world. 200 leagues, Live Always, numerous bet types, props options. You go for it. VIP Play. Everybody from pillar to post gets treated, from A to Z, from soup to nuts, gets treated like a VIP at VIP Play. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789. 21 and over, located in the great state of Tennessee to place a bet. And I want to shout out my friends at Dos Equis, because Dos Equis Lager Especial, it's that Golden Pilsner style beer. D-Wayne Light, you are going to Nashville, brother! You are going to Nashville! And my friends at Dos Equis, drink it smooth. It's so smooth. There's a Dos Equis for you. Several different kinds, but they're 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York. And let me go back to the phones because it's muy excelente. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony. Somebody gonna in.
How you doing, Sammy?
Listen, man, I hadn't really had a chance to say that all year, but
I know. Nate Ament's gonna make you feel it, though, isn't he?
Let me just start out the call with, it was a shitty day for me. And then I start watching the game. And full disclosure, I watched and listened. I was working. So, hey, 'tis the season to get paid to watch basketball.
There you go.
Or listen to basketball. And
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Listening to Jimmy Dykes will drive me crazy. Did he really say 4 years on that broadcast?
Yep.
4 years before he reaches his potential. Like,
yes.
What is this guy on? Maury?
Are you a fan of Jimmy Dykes' work, Maury? Let's just come right. I'm going to come out and ask Maury. Are you a fan of the guy's work, Maury? Yes or no? Coach Dykes. I'm sorry, Coach Maury. I got you muted. Go ahead.
So you couldn't hear that great line? Oh,
no,
Tony.
did you have a great line?
As my dear departed mother, God rest her soul, used to tell me when I was younger, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything to your caller. As I've told Tony before, that's why there's a thing called a mute button.
Oh! The Dykes button. Oh!
That is classic. And Maury, are you based in Knoxville now?
Yes, I am. My wife is from here, so I've lived here about 15 years.
Okay, you've been there 15 years.
One of the greatest things that ever happened in Maury's life. It's a dearly departed place in West Knoxville. It's since been torn down since our meeting. But one day, there will be an historical marker that sits there and it says, this is where Maury Hanks met Tony Basilio.
It was like Christmas for Basilio. You know, Tony, you know what they're building there now?
No.
A Popeye's chicken. I can't wait. I love me some red beans and rice.
Let's go.
Hey, and their gravy is next level.
Let's go.
I think I ate at a Popeyes in New Orleans once next to a titty bar. But anyway.
Shout out to Pate Fig.
Tony. Now, Maury, and I know Tony watched them last year. You mentioned Duke a minute ago, Tony. I know you watched them last year, and I know Maury did. The Boozer Brothers. My first question to Maury, did we ever have a shot at the Boozer Brothers? Did y'all? I mean, watching them in high school was kind of funny.
Oh, I can't tell you that. I just would probably think, number one, with his dad going to Duke, and number two, I know they were very close to Jai Lucas, who recruited him for Duke. So I think it would be really, really hard to, get away from it. The best thing about recruiting is the answer of yes. The second best part is an early no. The worst thing somebody can do is, yeah, you're in, and then at the last minute, no, you're going out.
Drag it on.
And
yep.
So I'm sure Tennessee's got a great program, a lot to offer, but I think it would have been very hard on those two kids to beat Duke.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of joking, but I get it. Watching them last year was a trip. But Tony, if they, what's the region or what's the first round on the East Coast down there where Duke would go? Would they go to Greenville?
I think that's probably right. I think that's where they would start, in the Carolinas somewhere. Yes.
If they put Tennessee in there, son, I'm telling you right now, because. All right, that was my next question. How many Tennessee fans were in that building, Tony? Because I'm going to tell you right now, when they started making that run, and I stopped and started watching.
It was pretty fun. It looked like a few thousand anyway. Yeah.
They
won't be starting in Greenville. Tennessee won't get shipped to Greenville.
No. They didn't have the season for that, unfortunately.
What if they win the SEC tournament, Brian?
They won't be going to Greenville.
Yeah, Brian's right.
If they win the SEC
they might
tournament,
get lucky and go to some place like St. Louis would be the closest they go to.
Yeah, that ship has sailed, Sammy.
Florida's going to go to Tampa.
If they win the SEC tournament and beat Florida,
it won't matter.
Okay. But and you were right earlier, Tony. What's the old saying? Money talks and bullshit walks. They're probably going to put Oklahoma and Auburn in there over. I mean, if they do, it should be the play-in game. But Bruce is up there running his mouth and on TV. Yep. They're gonna end up putting them in with 16 damn losses.
I tell you one thing, I won't be doing with Maury's. I won't be subscribing to Bruce Pearl's Instagram. Go! Thank you, my friend. Sammy's fired up, focused, and prepared today. And Sammy, I'm glad your day got better. You made my day better, Sammy. I want to shout out Dr. Rogers from Performance Medicine. I performed my best today. Performance Medicine. I was pretty sharp. My synapses are firing on all cylinders. It's been absolutely next level. We're going to come back tomorrow. I want to thank all these great sponsors that have helped us present this. They're online at performancemedicine.net. They want you to be healthy and not sick and get in the groove where you got to prove your love for me. A little Madonna back when Maury and I wore a younger man's clothes. Maury, were you a Madonna fan back in the day?
She was okay, Tony. I'm not a fake music aficionado like you are, but she was okay.
Hey, on the way out, guys, anything else you all want to add? It's been great, and we'll come back again and do it again tomorrow.
Here's a fun little fact.
Hit it.
Stephen Pearl and Stephen Forbes both finished 17 and 16. Both went 7 and 11 in their conference, and both went 1-1 in their conference tournaments.
And one's gone to the
Auburn had a little tougher schedule.
That's right. One's gone to the NCAA tournament because he had a tougher schedule. And one got a reprieve. Steve Forbes gets a reprieve the next season. And we love Forbesy. Come on, Forbesy. Let's do it next year, man. Make it count. Go to the Elite Eight next year.
He just got to make the damn tournament first.
Well, I know. Jeez. It's unbelievable in this age and era. Maury, is it just one of those deals where Wake Forest just doesn't have the money to compete in this era?
Yeah, I mean,
no money.
Again, I've known Steve. People ask me how long since he was thin and he had hair. I've known him 30 plus years. So they don't have the money. A lot of schools do. I mean, they're probably in the bottom quarter of the ACC.
Yep.
Over the last couple of years, they've just lost. Again, getting back to what I talked to you about, Miami of Ohio winning those games. Wake Forest has not won those games.
Yeah, and you got to win them.
You
got to figure out a way to win those games.
Simple as that.
Yep. Because he always has, and you, Matt, we've been cheering for him for years. I love Steve Forbes, but they always have this game where they're got a little winning streak going, and then they have some crazy ass loss to somebody. Matt, he's done it since they've been there. That inconsistent result.
They usually lose 2 or 3 non-conference games early in the year that they just can't afford to lose, and they're playing catch up the rest of the way. And they get close, but they just can't get over the hump because, like Mark said, they don't have the talent and or the roster to win in the margins and win a lot of those close games. But
Tony, again, getting back to what I said before, they lose to Michigan by 1. They lose to Texas Tech by 1. But then again, you talk about Oklahoma not being very good. Oklahoma beat them by 18 at Wake Forest. Vanderbilt went in there at Wake Forest and beat them by 30. That was a bad game.
The level of talent in these leagues is.
And then again, close games. They lose to North Carolina by 3. They lose to Miami by 4.
You can't buy a break. Can't buy a break.
No, exactly. They lose at Boston College where they led most of the game. Boston College tips the ball in at the buzzer to win by 1.
Forbes, Maury, great job today. Brian, great job. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll do the program, and we'll do this all over again. And Matt Dixon was right. And he took the over on Nate Ament's minutes, and he took the over on this show today because we went right at 2 hours today. So Matt was right because I said to Matt, I'm doing an hour and 15 minutes getting out of there. But winning was so damn fun. And I'm going to be honest, I on the Daily Show today, I argued with myself on the blog over at tclub.team over whether or not it's valuable when it's always fun to win. And it's really fun to beat those turkeys. And it's kind of fun to beat Stephen L. Pearl, who used to be Stephen F. and Pearl on here, but now he's Stephen Loser Pearl. But, Maury, thank you. Tomorrow, Mo will be back with us. Maury. Copper card call of the show. Bri, who wins the copper card? Who was the top caller?
The guy who came on and talked about the machine that threw players the ball.
I think it was Lambert.
Stuff
Lambert
like that. Yeah,
unpacked,
either one of
Lambert
those
unpacked
callers.
the claw arm. What's it called, Maury? The arm claw?
No, it's called the shooting gun.
The shooting gun. The shooting gun. Okay, till we meet again. For all those behind the scenes, we love you. We appreciate you. Matt Dixon will unpack what are we doing? The baseball series tomorrow in the blog. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy. Check us out at tclub.team. I love you. I thank you. All of our wonderful sponsors, I thank you. I'm going to go get me some sleep so I can come back tomorrow and, well, do this all over again and be a complete simpleton. Congratulations to the Vols. And Stephen L. Pearl, enjoy yourself. No table dancing for you this year, big boy, at the SEC tournament. As Matt Dixon said today on the air, he said, the thing about these favorites in these games is sometimes they just snap and freak. And it's Garza law, Tennessee basketball overtime. That's exactly what Tennessee did today. Tennessee snapped, crackled, and popped Stephen L. Pearl, his ball club. And here's the thing. Jimmy Dice can sit there all day long, and Pearl can sit there and squawk at the officials. And, I mean, I'm sorry, but that Auburn team, hey, Matt, I'm going to give you the first run out of here. Is that like an NCAA tournament basketball team to you? We lollygagged around. We played around for 30 minutes, Matt, and still put it on them.
Yeah, clamped down, went on a 20-0 run over about a 6 or 7 minute stretch where Nate Ament just took over, which was the most encouraging thing to see him play really, really well. But he was demanding the ball, and calling out screens for guys to set. It was really impressive that he just kind of took over for you there the last 12 or 14 minutes. But no, that Auburn team has no business being in the NCAA tournament. They're trash. They're 17 and 16.
They're trash. Trash.
But no, a really impressive kind of close to the game where Tennessee finally kind of just started locking down defensively. Auburn was out hustling, out playing Tennessee the entire first half and into the second half, playing like a team that needed to win to get in. But then Tennessee finally stepped up their intensity there, and it was kind of led by their freshmen, and that's a very, very encouraging sign.
Let's bring Maury Hanks in here now. Super Scout to the Stars and Brian Hartman. Then we go to the phones. By the way, if you want to load them up, 865-200-5402. Again, 865-200.